We're seeing the Saudis with no. Listen, I refer to them as a homogenised group, but they are right. They've got issues with Queensberry now. They're taking matchroom fighters. The idea is that the one sport that the Saudis could come into and they could probably dominate is boxing because there's no real governance and controls. You know, they can influence the WBC. In football, they couldn't control the football narrative. They couldn't control the golf narrative, but they can in boxing. Good or bad thing?
I've always said that more promoters in boxing the better, because more opportunities for boxers. The thing for me, the worry for me is how Zuffa are going to do it, on about set purses and like a UFC model style of doing things. But I think more promoters in boxing the better. I'm contracted to Matchroom Boxing, so.
Simon,
hopefully we'll keep going. Yeah, hopefully we'll keep going. Yeah.
Was you surprised?
You don't want to say anything nasty about Eddie then, right? Snivelling coward.
Was you surprised that that TKO were considering taking legal? Oh, sorry, Frank Warren was considering taking legal action against TKO.
Well, I've always understood. I thought it was implicitly understood that the heir apparent to the direction of travel for the Saudis was George Warren. I thought that the door being opened by Queensberry, and the understanding was, and yes, Matchroom would be.
Does Frank have legs to stand on?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to answer your question in the way that I want to answer it. When Matchroom fighters over there previously, they weren't quite engaging the Saudis the way that Frank did when he opened the door to Ngannou, knowing what this great big rush of cash was going to do and how the appetite was going to be developed. So it was always understood by me that there was going to be this preferential treatment, contractual obligation between what they were doing, what they were going to become, and Queensberry were going to be carried along with it, whether it was a pension for Frank and a future for George. I always thought that was going to be the case. So I'm not surprised, and I'm not surprised that they would shove Rick down their throat for what the Ring magazine said. Whoever wrote that, whichever genius wrote that, whoever it was written about, if it was written about Eddie, if it was written about Ben Shalom, if it was written about Kala Sauron, if it was written about Frank Warren, if it was written about Top Rank, they should suing them, because you can't run around suggesting that people are potless and running out of money and all your fighters are running away because you haven't got any money. That is the very definition of defamation.
How do you see the next 12 to 18 months in the boxing promotion?
They'll drop hands. I mean, they'll all play nicely in the end. I mean, if you listen to Turkey talk about the things that he does, he talks about being an investor in DAZN but wanting to stick content on Netflix because he wants to get everybody at it, right? That's what the business model is. Get everybody at it, get everybody moving around, getting everybody creating opportunities and outcomes for you. He's told us repeatedly himself, I want to have all of the content involved in boxing around me, and I will license it to every other bugger. So how do I see it? I think that Queensberry will find their outcome with Turkey Al Sheikh and TKO and Dana White. Eddie will be valuable as he always is, and we'll continue as we continue.
Do you still see Eddie working with TKO, Turkey Al Sheikh, in the future?
If it's pound note, yeah.
Yeah, obviously I don't know what the situation was Frank now, but I don't think there's any business going to be going on between. No, yeah. I mean,
what do you think, Paul? I mean, ultimately, this is business. It's not personal. And if you want to take it personally, you're a child.
Yeah, listen, you have to remember that sometimes when with boxers and fighters and promoters and everything else, it's hard not to take it personal when you're the fighter because it's a personal relationship and it has to be good, but it's just business, and that's what people have to remember. And you'll see, who'd have thought 15 years ago we'd see Eddie and Frank at shows sitting next to each other?
Who'd have thought you'd seen Derek Chisora and David Haye working together, one promoting the other?
There you go, exactly after the West Ham years ago, and again, a long time ago. Things change in boxing, but business is business, and if they can make money together, if they can make money on shows where they're rivaling each other, they'll do it whatever way they can. And for me, boxing won when they were all working together, and when they are working all together. But we see the best fights, and that's what for years now, for the last couple of decades, we've cried out for. We want to see that fight, but they're with different promoters, and it can't happen. There's no danger of that no more because we have a middleman and we have the middle ground where you can, well, you bring your fight today, you get a fee, but this fight happens in the public game.
That's what I'm saying. We've been spoiled for that for now, what is it, the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah. But what I'm saying is now with the whole moving of the guard again now, with Dana White coming in with TKO, broadcasters, etc.
Broadcasters,
absolutely.
It's broadcaster driven.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen Netflix have a little dalliance with certain verticals of boxing. Somewhere along the line, Amazon are going to do the same thing. Somewhere along the line, YouTube will do some more stuff.
Do you think we'll still get the boxing league, etc.?
I don't know. I don't know what
that work?
What that's
will
become,
that
because
work?
That's become Zuffa, hasn't it, in its own little way. What do you think of Zuffa, Dave? Would you have a piece of that if the opportunity presented itself?
No.
Of course not. No.
$15 million?
No, of course not. No.
Genuinely, I'm a very simple man. I know that might shock you all, but I'm very happy. I live in Doncaster.
He looked at me then
because he knows you are simple, Spencer. You can relate to it.
I know I'm a very simple person. I'm very grateful. I live a very nice life.
Nice new house.
Very nice house, actually. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
New bathroom.
It was good.
3 bathrooms.
3 bathrooms.
3 bathrooms.
Very good.
So
ensuite.
No hairbrush, though.
Ensuite.
No hairbrush. No shampoo. 99% of that is thanks to me because I put the work in physically, mainly being smart. But I have to thank Eddie and the Matchroom as well. And my loyalty lies with them. And people will say you're daft for doing that because we'll have our ups and downs, and we've had fallouts, and we had a few situations, but I'm happy where I am. I'm not a massive commodity, really, but I'll stay where I am. Thank you.
Money talks, doesn't it?
I've got enough at the minute. I'm happy with enough.
All right. Let's end up talking about you, Dave. A win last week. I'm not sure much about the opponent, mate. I don't think we need to learn anything from that.
I'll be honest, right? They offered me him, and I thought, right, that's Christmas for me, because I knew he weren't great. He was won 12, lost 10. He boxed the French title. He'd been 10 rounds 3 or 4 times. I knew he was what he was. He was very average. He'd probably be an area champion. And people always say to me, "Oh, you're area title level." I thought, all right, let's get this kid over who's area title level, and I'll smash him to pieces in about a minute. I wanted to show people. People say I'm no good. All right, then let's get this fella over who's no good, and I'll show you that I'm better than no good. And they paid me good money for it as well. So I said, you know what, I'll have it. So that was what it was. It was what it was. I weren't in the best shape in the world, to be honest. I was morbidly obese at Christmas and New Year.
Why is that then? I thought you had a new regime going on with a new discipline and you were taking it seriously. So why were you morbidly obese?
Because what happened after Makhmedov is I put a little bit of weight on, and then I continued to put more weight on, and then at Christmas I put a lot of weight on. And then,
a reasonable explanation then, yes, of course.
Yeah, so I'm just greedy and lazy, and I'm not. But I'm not a liar though. I don't lie to anyone about it. I'm fat, I'm lazy, I'm greedy.
What was the show?
But you're not greedy financially.
No, I'm not, because I've got.
You should be greedy in that space.
I've got enough. I've got 3 bathrooms, Spence. I eat like a pig. Look at the size of me.
Wait, what was the show we was working on? We were working on a show, and normally you have a bag of sweets there.
It was Ben Eubank.
Ben Eubank.
I got sausage rolls.
He went sausage rolls, sausages. That I've never seen someone so much food on the table.
But like they were like, oh, let's get
this.
It was
like a proper feast, wasn't it?
Let's get a buffet in it.
Good, fantastic. Right, listen to all you young fighters out there. Right, will it be Zhang next?
Won't be Zhang next. No. Dalton Smith, I believe, is going to box in June. I'll definitely be on there. That'll be a 10 or 12 round contest. That will be a real fight. I'm told that'll be a real proper fight. Hopefully I'll box before that, and then hopefully if I win them 2 fights, Eddie said this morning, stop mentioning things that I tell you, but I'll tell you it could be Zhang or Miller next. But that's the last thing I'm ever going to say that I shouldn't say.
But what about the British title? Because you made a big song. No, you didn't make a big song dance. No. You mentioned it with pride and how much it would mean to you and how much it might mean to your father as well to win a British title. Where's that ambition gone?
The truth is, it was my granddad's dream, really, and my dad's. My granddad passed away, and me and my dad don't get on very well. So that dream, it was never my dream. It was their dream, really. That's the honest truth. That might sound a bit morbid, but that's the truth. I would love to win the British title. The British title is massive. It's the biggest thing you can win.
I'd love to see you win it, Dave.
As a British boxer.
Right.
Do you know what?
And I have to be honest though.
So what's going on with it then?
I can box TKV for the British title. I can box Zhang for 3 times more.
But you just told me it wasn't about the money.
It's not about the money, but it's for the kids. It's about the money, not for me.
All right.
For the kids.
Okay, you're smart, aren't you?
But if the opportunity came to box for the British title, Riyadpur TKV winner, or Zhang, and it was for the similar money, I would box for the British title.
Yes.
That's the answer to that question. But obviously, it's not as straight. I'm not a business guy. I'm not a.
But your currency. I mean, I watched the reaction from the fans when you came in that fight, and there was no it was a 1-round blast out, right? The guy wasn't. You just dealt with him, and you know you did, right? Because the levels that you had were miles above where he was, and you proved your point. That was an area level fighter. If I'm an area level fighter, I'm miles above him. So the currency's there. So surely there must be a finesse. If TKV, say TKV comes through, right? Given the fact that he's beaten Fraser Clark, there's some currency in that. Surely they must be able to monetize. Surely Eddie must be able to populate that properly financially and give you both ends of the equation, which is the money that you want for, not for yourself, of course, for your children, and the accolade of having a British title. Surely you must want to push him in that direction, mustn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a mad position really, because I can probably sell 1,000 tickets anywhere in the country now, 4 or 5 weeks notice. So I'm in a very privileged position. I'm very grateful for it.
You probably sell more than that, couldn't you?
Yeah, in Sheffield, I think we could have probably done 5,000 or 6,000 in Sheffield on my own. So we're in a great position. It's unbelievable, really. I don't really know how it's happened either. It's been a massive, great accident. But yeah, I'm open to anything.
I think it's been down to you working hard, mate. Like I say, when we talk about that prize fight back in 2019, you go, it looks like effectively your career's over, and I don't know where the ambition's going to come from, whatnot. The way you brought yourself back, only you've done that.
Well, I just think after the prize fight, I was told, like, everyone said you shouldn't box again, really. The injuries I had were pretty serious, and they said we shouldn't box again. But went away and had kids, and I don't know, really. I just wanted...
Was that the changing point, the kids?
Probably, but the thing is, I retired as well, and you're very quickly forgotten, and promises are very easily broken. And to be honest, I had kids, and I was absolutely skint. I got the Fisher fight, and just went on from there. But yeah, I love boxing. It's like Tyson Fury. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's retiring and coming back all the time." Without boxing, I don't know what I'm going to do. And people always worry about my health and that. And I know Paul's one of them as well. That's like, oh, you shouldn't be boxing too much longer. But in the last 6 years, I probably sparred 50 rounds.
You know, for me, you're in the right place to be looked after with Jamie Moore. He would be one of the first ones to say, Jamie's a careful trainer, and I like that about him. With me, my issue's never been with yourself. My issue's with other people talking about yourself. And I know that you're happy doing what you're doing. If you won that British title, that would mean the world to you, like it did to me. Like it probably did to Spence at the time, the European title as well. That's your title. That's something that you can be proud of for the rest of your life. And I think if you can do that and beat TKV, this is a brilliant opportunity for you to do that now, in my opinion. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Now, in the past, the champions that I had at the time, they were good people, they were good fighters, and there's no shame. If you look at that list of the British champions, the last 20, 25 of them are top names. Joshua's, Dubois, Fury's, all that. But for the British title or for the likes of fighting Zhang, I'm sitting here thinking, like, can you not fit them both in? Can you not get TKV and then maybe hopefully get Zhang? Because you would be confident going into that fight against TKV. It's a good fight, by the way, and it's a close fight, and it's not by any stretch of imagination you're going to win easy. It's a very good fight, and it's one I would like to see that. And I've always said for a long time, I'm not kissing your ass, I'd love to see you in a British title because it puts all them things to bed. Now you massively above central area level, massively. It's an insult to you. But if you win that title and you've done it.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't suffer with delusions of grandeur, you know what I mean? I don't think I'm some world-class operator. If I box Zhang Zhang, if I was looking from the outside looking in, I would think Zhang Zhang's going to knock me out in one round. He's the Olympic bronze medalist. He's miles too good for me from the outside looking in. And I'm aware of that, and I'm aware that most people in boxing will have the same opinion. A lot of people in boxing. We talk about Conor Benn, and I don't want to be. I'm not being negative about him on a personal level, but we're talking professionally. But people look at me the same.
You've got to speak in your mind. You tell the truth.
And they'll go, look at Dave Allen, lad ass, don't train properly. Go look at all these opportunities, and I made these opportunities by just being me, and that will irk people in boxing. And I appreciate that and understand it, but I've always just run with it. So I appreciate what
that
people
should be respected. Though you've done it by being yourself. You're not playing an act. There's so many people in boxing. You play this act, and the minute the camera turns off to a different person, you've been yourself constantly from the start. So it should be rewarded. And I've said it on here, I've said it many a time in the past. I would love to see you get that British title. I'd love to see you.
Do you think you could win
no one in boxing that doesn't like you? It'd be great if you could finally do it.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll get on with it then.
I think I'm a very good boxer.
Yeah,
well,
it's good to hear because
15 years ago, I have belief in my ability, but. Everything that people say about me, people always when they talk negatively about me, I don't perceive it as negativity. It's the truth.
But Dave, people don't talk about you negatively. The only person that seems to talk about you negatively is yourself.
Yeah,
everyone thinks that you are a commendable fellow and can operate at a high level, and your own worst enemy is yourself.
Yeah, full of self-doubt. And I thought that you think that would go away in your 30s, but it's still there. You still look at these. I still looked at Matt Medov and thought, don't think I can beat him.
Is that what you walked into the ring thinking?
And then after the fight, I looked at him and I thought, I could have
Is there a lesson to take from that? Doesn't Jamie say that to you? I'm not trying to make you suck eggs here, but doesn't if you look at him before the fight, I don't think I can beat him, and after the fight you think, I could have beat him.
Yeah.
Isn't there a mentality switch that someone's got to push a switch with you?
Can I interrupt one sec? You know what a big thing for me is in boxing? We always try and be humble, most of us.
Yeah,
some don't.
nothing wrong with that.
But having that humility sometimes means putting yourself down, sometimes means being a bit more realistic. Well, I might not beat him, but you've got to have this delusion as a fighter, I can beat him. You've got to have this delusion, as you well know. I don't need to tell you how to suck eggs again. You have to have this delusion where you can go, I know I can beat this fella, no matter what fight you're going into. But when you're a boxer, there's a fine line between humility and staying humble and not being sort of bragging and
Getting
flash.
carried away with yourself,
I went on a Contender in 2007. I sat in a hotel room with Mark Burnett and Sugar Ray Leonard and a few other producers. I said, well, what's your ambitions, Paul? I said, well, hopefully I can do this. I really hope I can do this. Don't want to be too big-headed, but I think I can win this competition. And Ray Leonard pulled me aside, and I'm not named, sorry. Don't ever say that again. Be very confident in yourself. Don't say hopefully. Don't say you're going to win it. Be confident in it. Have the confidence in yourself.
Project it.
To get something from someone like him, obviously, is great, but he's right. And we tend as boxers, as fighters, to sort of stay humble and not be too brash or arrogant. And you're very much like that, obviously. But there's a line in putting yourself down and being quietly confident.
But what you're not backward about coming forward on is when you think that someone else isn't doing something particularly well. Now, on the back of the Dubois Usyk fight, you were quite vocal about that. That's now got him another world title shot against Daniel Dubois. How did you see that fight go?
Which fight's that, sorry?
Dubois versus Fabio Wardley.
I think Dubois wins, yeah.
Do you?
I always pick against Wardley, though, because common sense dictates that Fabio Wardley shouldn't be beating the men that he's beating on the back of four. But he is, yeah, of course.
Because he believes in himself.
But the difference between Dubois and Wardley's opponents, Hooney, Parker, Gorman, all brilliant boxers, but they're not punchers like Dubois is. And I think Wardley gets it, and I think he gets it too much. And I think against Dubois, he can't afford to take even one, and I think Dubois will do him. But Fabio probably happy to hear that because I've said it about 8 times, but I'm wrong every time. So. I don't really have an horse in the race.
That'll balance it because he's really unhappy to hear me tipping him because everyone I tip gets so he's not happy that I'm tipping him. You might have seen Deontay Wilder doing his best behaviour recently. Do you like him in the Chisora fight, Dave?
It don't really do anything for me, to be honest. Not really.
No?
Doesn't really excite me. Wardley Dubois, I think, is the best fight in British boxing.
I do too.
Just so exciting. Like they're not massive names because they're not massive personalities. They're not Tyson Fury.
Fabio will be though. If Fabio wins this fight, I think he will be. Won't you?
But I think it's a great fight. Wilder Chisora.
It's Del Boy.
Yeah, I mean near the time I'll probably look forward to it, but it's not. I'm not really. Maybe 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, but now. Not really. I'm not massively overexcited about it, to be honest.
And at the end of this month, we see Moses Itauma going in against Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine was on the show the other day. I don't think he was particularly pleased when I told him he was going to get knocked out, but they asked me and I got Tourette's and I can't help myself.
I was worried for you.
I opened my mouth again. There you go. Well, I can't help it. I ask me a question, I give you an answer, a bit like Dave. How do you see Moses doing in the fight? Do you see him knocking Franklin out? And if he does, how do you proceed with the rest of 2026?
I think the problem with Itauma is he's just not boxing enough. Like, this will be his second fight.
Was that a problem for Mike Tyson then?
Mike Tyson was boxing all the time when he first started, and I know Itauma was obviously facing.
He was knocking everybody out, wasn't he?
Facing better opposition, but for a lad who's 20 years of age, he should be boxing more. I know he's boxing good kids now, but
what, more fights you mean?
Yeah, he should be
boxing.
He should be having more fights, I think. Franklin's a good fighter.
They won't fight him though, will they?
Franklin will fight him. You pay him.
What I'm saying is, you're making a point. I know that Kubra Pulev was going to fight him and wanted.
The problem he's got though is the position that he's put himself into with the WBA #1, etc., etc. You go, where do you go? Where's the balance? Where's the fight? Jermaine Franklin's a great fight for him because it will be making a statement. Whatever people think about Franklin, he's a tough kid and he's very awkward as well. He knows how to make a fight ugly. And for if Moses goes out there and does a job on him and gets the win inside the distance, statement, mate.
Do you think he does that?
I'll say win on points.
Really?
I was just going to say, I think he gets him out of there quickly, makes a statement.
Yeah.
I just think he's He's so dangerous. It's not necessarily about how good you are.
Jermaine's better than he looks.
Dave was saying before about Riakporhe. Someone like Riakporhe and Coley, to me, fighting would have been my worst nightmare, that type of style. I'd hate to fight someone like them. I just think his style, he has that, he unlocks the door, and I think he'll find it early and make a statement. But I think he's the real deal. Yeah. I do agree he should be more active, but when he fights, people are demanding stupid money just to get in the ring with him. It's tough to match him.
With the Franklin fight, the 2 times I've watched Itauma where I've not been impressed, he boxed Kevin Espindola and Dobyshenko, and they was ultra negative. They gave him nothing. They tucked up really tight, and he couldn't do anything with him. He got a bit frustrated. So Franklin's going to do the same thing. Franklin's going to do the same thing. If Franklin's fit, he'll take him 12. If he's not, he'll get banged out. Simple as that.
On the other side of the equation, if he does bang him out, people are going to go, it's going to create even more of a situation where people don't really want to fight him unless they absolutely have to, or they absolutely get paid to.
Right? I think it's if he bangs Franklin out, then I think that the problem that they've got then is with the wanting to get Moses the rounds, etc., etc. You're going to have to let him off the leash. He's going to have to fight when he's fighting. He's going to have to go more Wardley sort of fight, because there's nowhere else to go.
Fascinating time.